It's a battle of the unbeatens in Week 4 between the Eagles and Buccaneers. I'm Coy Camiscioli for Florida Sports Talk here. Going to preview the game for you. It should be an interesting game. Should definitely be a good game. The Buccaneers are a little banged up, and we'll get on to that. And I'll give you guys my predictions and keys to victory as well. So I want to start off this podcast. So technically the Buccaneers have had an ownership of the Eagles as of recent. I think it's a little more fraudulent than some people expect because, you're counting in the game from last year in which the Eagles were missing A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Lane Johnson. So they lost that game. The year before that, 2023, we lost in the playoffs. But Eagles really lost to everybody. We were bad. We were bad at the end of that year. And we beat them in the regular season early on that season. But we lost them in the playoffs, and we lost like everybody. We lost like 6 out of our last 7 games. So I just think that this ownership, I think it's going to get exposed this week. I don't want to give away my prediction too early, but I think you can clearly see that I'm siding with the Eagles in this game. But who knows? The Buccaneers, they have a great coaching system. They've been able to shut down Jalen Hurts before. But again, I think a lot of that has to do with their offensive coordinator and Brian Johnson a couple years ago. And just the fact that we were not healthy last season. So we'll see. So we'll get into the injury reports first. As for the Eagles coming into this game, Adoree Jackson, he is doubtful to play with a groin injury. It is expected that Kelee Ringo is supposed to get a majority of the snaps. Because Jacorian Bennett, he was placed on injured reserve as well, so another one of our corners goes down. Undisclosed injury, by the way. So other than that, and Nolan Smith, we didn't talk about that yet. Nolan Smith goes to the IR. He re-aggravated his tricep that he tore, I believe he tore in the Super Bowl. So that is obviously, that's a big loss, but I think they're playing this safely. That's why they put him on injured reserve. It would take him through the bye week. It's probably a good thing. This team's going to make the playoffs unless something crazy happens. So I want our guys healthy. I'm okay with Nolan Smith going on the IR. And so Jacorian Bennett, Adoree Jackson, Nolan Smith. 3 defensive names there. Darius Cooper for the Eagles. He is not much of anything, but he got placed on the injured reserve with a shoulder injury. So that's it for the Birds. As for the Buccaneers, Chris Godwin is expected to make his return after that awful ankle injury last year. But one up, one down as Mike Evans, he's been ruled out as well with the hamstring injury for the Bucks. He aggravated that this past week. And Baker Mayfield, he is expected to play against us. He has a right bicep injury. He's questionable as of now. He's going to play. And Tristan Wirfs, he's expected to make his 2025 debut for the Buccaneers. So a couple of really interesting injury designations going into this week between the two teams. But nothing too crazy. I think most of those guys are going to play, just besides the guys I named that are going on IR. So, let's get into some keys to victory for the Eagles. I don't want to go too long here. This one's going to sound stupid at first, but I just want the Eagles to play their game. And the reason why I say this is a key to victory is because I do think that the Buccaneers' ownership of the Eagles is a little fraudulent. I have a lot of respect for their coaching staff and everything, but they beat us in the playoffs when we were a meltdown, in which every team was beating us. The Cardinals were beating us. Every single team was beating us. And then they beat us last year. We were without 4 or 5 of our key players. So, you can call it an ownership, whatever you want. I just think if the Eagles play their game this week, I don't think that the Buccaneers will win this game at all. I don't care if that it's in Tampa. The conditions, we can talk about that for a second. I just expect to have a feel of like 101 degrees this upcoming week, or this game. The Eagles players have said they've been going in the sauna a little extra this past week, getting prepared, and they even adjust their traveling schedule. They left a day early. They left on Friday to get acclimated to the heat, in which Buccaneers players said that they don't think that that'll matter, which they might be right about, but you don't know. So it's hot all around. Obviously, it's hot in Florida specifically right now. And I don't think that's going to play much of a part in this game for the Eagles. Obviously it'll be a factor for the players in the field, but I think they'll be able to fight through the heat in this game to get the win. So that's my first key to victory. My second key to victory is just the secondary has to be solid. The secondary needs to be on their game. Sometimes you have games where your secondary can take a lapse or two because your defensive front is just getting to them every other play or whatever. With Adoree Jackson doubtful and Jacorian Bennett going on IR, we need Kelee Ringo to really step up. And again, that's the guy that apparently is supposed to get a majority of the snaps for the Eagles. He needs to step up. He can't be a liability like he was in the preseason. I know he was going up against Jamar Chase in that preseason game, but we need him big time. So, and my third key to victory is we got to get the offense to be explosive early on. Jalen Hurts said something this past week of talking about how, this offense is completely capable of doing what they did in the second half against the Rams every single drive. They gotta start doing that. They can't just keep playing just to not lose the game. They need to go win the game early. So I kind of want to see the offense come out a little bit. I kind of want the Bucks to feel like they're out of this game when it's a 10-0, 14-0 game. So I want this offense to come out kind of firing. Maybe that involves AJ Brown on a deep route, or we get some guys going up the middle, whatever it may be. But I would like to see this team really. I don't want to see it wait till the second half when it's a 3-point game, a 5 or a 6-point game, whatever it may be. Get going in the first half and get this game in your control, and then you can run the ball and play it safe and not turn it over. So, speaking of turnovers, Jalen Hurts is top 10 all time in interception percentage, which is crazy. I think he has like 3 turnovers in his last year or whatever. No, that can't be true. I forget what the stat is. I'm gonna have to pull it up. But this should be a good game. I'm excited for this because, again, this is the battle of the unbeatens. I think the Bucks are a little fraudulent right now. They won 3 games on the final drive against the Jets, the Texans. So I mean, a win is a win in the National Football League. But I think the Eagles are going to take care of business this week. Final score prediction: Eagles win 27-17. I think we got this one in the bag. So, yep, that's going to do it, guys. And I'll see you guys for the recap this upcoming week.